What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Monday Night Wars. Brett Mix here for you, Macho Wrestling 101. This time on the WCW side. Hit like and subscribe if you're enjoying these reviews. I enjoy pumping them out. They're there for you, and I archive them on my channel for whatever you want to rewatch the wars. All these episodes are archived. This is another week looking at the Nitro versus Raw. 108 is the week. In totality, Nitro has 89 wins. The WWF has 17 wins and 2 draws overall. So Nitro beats Raw for the 70th week in a row this week. The scores were 3.8 for Nitro to Raw's 3.0. So they wanted to buy a difference of 0.8 on another hot week for pro wrestling on cable television. The same difference in ratings last week, a 0.8 victory for Nitro over Raw, who once again has 89 wins to the WWF's 17 wins in these 108 weeks. This Nitro went live Monday, December the 1st, 1997 on TNT from the Knoxville Civic Coliseum in Knoxville, Tennessee. This is another night closing in on Starrcade, which is shaping up to be the biggest WCW pay-per-view ever. WCW are right in their peak here in late 97. The peak would last an entire year, though, so a lot of quality Nitros from here on in for going into 1998. We first see a shot of the dummy Sting falling from last week through the rafters all the way through the canvas floor, ripping the canvas apart. It was just a mannequin. The fans and Schiavone were wondering, where's the real Sting? Tony tells Zbyszko about him and Hall, and they show clips of last week between Hall and Schiavone. Mean Gene then introduces Eric Bischoff of the nWo. Eric says he doesn't have the ability, does Larry, to put up Nitro on the line if they ever wrestled a match. So that's what would be up for the grabs if he could put Nitro on the line, but there's no way that Zbyszko can do that. And he calls Bischoff a coward, does Zbyszko, on commentary. In the ring, we start off with Rey Mysterio Jr. versus Juventud Guerrera. Going to be a great match to open up the pretty great Nitro card they have on the night. Eddie Guerrero walks by the stage area like Scar from The Lion King as he's just observing everything up front when he's got that beard and that nasty scowl on his face. Both these cruiserweights go at it. Ray and Juvi do fine chain wrestling sequences with a lot of reversals, monkey flips, flying head scissors. Eddie's on commentary giving us his 2 cents. Ray hits a Hurricane Rana, but he still sells the leg because Juvi was working away on his leg the whole match. A Hurricane Rana from the top, and while selling the leg, Mysterio gets a 3 count. Ray wins in the end. I gave the match 2 stars and 3/4. Hugh Morris took on Wrath next in a big man power match. Hugh Morris wins a basic man's match with the no laughing matter flip from the top. Gave that half a star. Hollywood Hogan comes out playing the guitar on his title in a black muscle shirt with a big white cross. Bischoff is with him. Hogan says he's the real reason everyone is here tonight and calls people with the Sting mask people in denial. Hogan says if Sting had any guts, he'd show up like he does every week. Fans chant for Sting. Hogan has lost it, says Schiavone. An old granny in the front row has a Sting mask and argues with Hogan in the front row. Very likely a plant, obviously. I mean, it's obvious, but it was still a nice, neat little interaction. Sort of like when they do the fans coming into the ring. Prince Aoki versus Yuji Nagata with Sonny Ono. Prince Aoki and Nagata both on winning streaks. They talk about the possibilities of Larry and Eric at Starrcade. Nagata with the ankle lock, grapevining the leg into a half crab. Yuji Nagata has been on a roll lately, as I said. Aoki was coming back with kicks. Nagata off the top with Prince Aoki. They both battle off. Prince Aoki hits the crossbody and gets the 3 out of nowhere. Prince Aoki ends Nagata's winning streak as Yuji Nagata loses for the first time in weeks with a little offense done by Prince Aoki, but he still gets the win, so I gave it a 1.5 stars. Harlem Heat and the Faces of Fear brawled last week, so that sets up the tag match for this week. Mang chops extremely hard against Booker and walks into a scissors kick, then another thrust kick to the head. Barbarian comes in with a big boot to the face of Stevie Ray after Mang tagged him in. Stevie Ray grounded by the power and elbow drops of Ray. Harlem Heat win in the end after Booker had Barbarian down. Mang with a Tonga death grip to Stevie Ray, then to Booker after he's hit with a wooden chair after the match. and gave the match 2 stars. The Outsiders come to the ring with their titles. Hall does his usual shtick as polling the audience if they're here for the nWo. Scott Hall then took on the Disco Inferno. Randy Savage squashed Inferno last week's. Now it's a chance for Scott Hall to squash him this week. Disco Inferno gets a fallaway slam. Hall signals for the end, the Outsider's Edge. It hits a 3 count. Gave it a 1/4 star, but it was more just Scott Hall building him up after his big World War III win. and keeping him looking strong, while the Disco Inferno keeps jobbing to big league nWo players, Savage and Hall, in the last 2 weeks. They talk more about how Bischoff and Zbyszko can't happen because Eric wanted Zbyszko to put up Nitro on the line, knowing he doesn't have the power to do that. Mean Gene talks to JJ Dillon, and we get a different story from him. He says, Bischoff never ceases to amaze me. JJ admits Bischoff isn't a fool. Dillon says that he has the power. JJ does, to put Nitro on the line. So Bischoff comes out and looks and acts like a child storming around Dillon, shouting, "No, no, no." They say it's official that Bischoff versus Zbyszko is on, but this isn't the final decision, as some of us know. Heading into Starrcade, that's not what would end up happening, but that's what they would have you believe at this point. Ultimo Dragon took on Psychosis. Dragon in a nice sky blue attire. Psychosis with a different attire too, all dressed in black. Psychosis with quick exchanges to begin this one. Standing switch, nice chain wrestling. Dragon with high kicks, a turnaround thrust kick. Psychosis with a guillotine leg drop to the floor, outside on the apron. Psychosis with a big-time drop kick. Dragon is hit with an inside cradle, a kick, standing switch, and Psychosis gets a roll-up out of there with a near fall, and then an Oklahoma roll on Dragon and another kick out. Psychosis slams Dragon to the mat. Psychosis dropkick growing first from the top rope. Ultimo Dragon with a Hurricane Runner off the top, and then Ultimo Dragon gets Psychosis in the Dragon Sleeper. Dragon picks up the victory over Psychosis. 2.5-star rating for that match. Next up, we have the Four Horsemen's Chris Benoit. He was supposed to take on Raven, but Raven got on the mic and says he signed a piece of paper for a contract, but he won't conform and do things on their time. It's who I want, where I want, and how I want them, says Raven. So Raven sends in one of his flock members, Kidman, to take on Chris Benoit instead. Benoit goes on a chopping spree to Billy Kidman, a young Kidman. He puts a Boston Crab on him. Benoit shouts to the front row and says, "You want to be a man?" to Raven. Raven stands up and gets closer, but doesn't come in the ring just yet. Benoit chops the hell out of Kidman in a Hurricane Rana to Benoit by Kidman, a bulldog from the top by Kidman, getting in some offense to the veteran. Kidman then went to spear Benoit to the floor through the middle of the ropes. Chris lands on his feet, and Benoit chopped the hell out of him some more. A shooting star press on the apron by Kidman to the floor to Benoit. Back in the ring, a snapmare takeover by Kidman. Raven's flock lift up a sign that says Kidman World Tour 1997. Benoit picks up Kidman by the back of the head, and Benoit with a backbreaker. However, the defense didn't last long by Kidman, who blocked a German suplex. Benoit beats Kidman in the end when he gets the crippler crossface in. Great little match. I rated it 3 stars. Raven comes in and hits the DDT after the match to Chris Benoit after he was done winning the match. Luger then taking on the NWO's Buff Bagwell. Luger with explosive offense, running lariats. Buff would make some good power moves here, side slams, and then he'd pose to the audience, but he took too much time posing, so Luger comes back with a running boot and then a double boot in the corner to catching Bagwell up high. Luger picks up Vincent, who is around the ring, and throws him onto Bagwell. Luger wins by DQ after Vincent came in originally, and Luger racks Vincent after the match. Then he racks Bagwell as well. I gave the match a 1.5. They do the following announcements from paid for by the New World Order, and they show DDP being attacked in several different scenarios over the past year by Savage, but as Shivani said, it was nicely clipped. Didn't show any of DDP's moments in the sun. DDP challenges Hennig for the World U.S. title in the main event. Hennig's all in blue like he was in his Mr. Perfect days. Solid pace here. Hennig wears him down. Hennig spun him around, but DDP hits a high-impact clothesline right back. DDP with the pancake slam before his diamond cutter. Rick Rude arrived. Hennig went for a slam, but DDP got the cutter on Hennig. Rude threw the official out of the ring that was counting the 3 count for a DDP, and that's what disqualified him. DDP wins by DQ, but not the U.S. title when DDP had it won. The NWO comes out and wrecks that. I rate that main event 2 stars. After the match, Savage and the rest of the NWO come out on DDP, and they come to beat down on him. NWO dominated last week, and they're doing that this week. They end the show with Hollywood Hogan meeting business with Bischoff. The fans started throwing debris in the ring. DDP is down, and Hogan pointed to Hennig as the man. Fans chanted, "We want Sting," as everybody took turns beating on DDP. So another ending with the NWO top dominating. Shivani says, "Sting, where in the world are you?" Quality-wise, I rate this Nitro a 7 out of 10. It had quality matches like Hoovy Ray, Benoit Kidman, DDP, Hennig, Psychosis, Ultimo Dragon, Nagata Aoki, and Lex Bagwell were decent, as was Harlem Heat and Faces of Fear. But like Raw around the same time, this show was carried by the storytelling and the build to the pay-per-view, as they seem to do a good job with that, with Sting and Hollywood Hogan coming in the weeks to come. And I'm Brett Mix. Thank you for watching these reviews. Hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you again on the next time. I'm out.